All right, so I had started to film this video on my camera, but then my card went full, so now I have to redo it, but it's all right. This should not be that long. So this video, I'm going to be explaining what I think are the zodiac signs of characters in Insecure. All right, so I'm going to focus mainly on sun signs. I might throw in some moons and Venus signs or whatever and risings, but this is mainly the sun. Again, these are characters, so you can't go as in depth as like an individual, right? So we're going to start with Issa, the character. So obviously Issa has the same name as her character, but let's start with her character. I think she's an Aquarius. I think she's very quirky, but also can be serious, kind of, she's pretty logical at times. Aquarius is ruled by Saturn and Uranus, so there's those influences there, and I think she's an Aquarius rising too. And I say that because it's just like she's not afraid to like go outside the box, and she went up when she went up to that stage and she sung that song, right? When she, but she's also kind of like, she was embarrassed by it. So it's not that Aquarius does things and they don't care about how they're perceived, but they just, they're not, it's not about attention with them. But even like in the latest season where her and that guy that she was seeing jumped into the pool of the person's house, and she used to live in that house a long time ago, but she doesn't live there anymore, and they're like jumping in the pool, skinny dipping. It's like that type of stuff. Aquarius is like kind of like adventurous, that a Uranus part of them. Now Saturn, remember, Saturn is like structure and order, so just as much as they can do that, they're also about responsibility. They can be, though they also do things in their own time. So remember, like, Saturn rules time. Saturn doesn't move very fast. Saturn knows it'll just eventually happen. And so I do think Issa, even look at her career and how she's not really super until recently motivated to like leave where she's not happy, because she's kind of just there doing what she needs to do. But not, Aquarius is not really, I don't think they are, you always know what direction they want to go in. Moon in Virgo. I think she's also a moon in Virgo, though. I think she is analytical about how she feels. I don't think she's necessarily very overly emotional or anything like that. I also think she has a Venus in Pisces. And the reason I think her Venus is in Pisces is because she has rose-colored glasses when it comes to relationships. With Daniel, she just was like in lust, and she didn't understand that like what she did was going to have consequence in relationship with Lawrence. And though I get why she was frustrated with Lawrence, there still was that kind of like, she let it build up. And that is very, Pisces energy is not always very focused. It's very compassionate. It's the last sign of the zodiac, and so they've experienced all these different things. But at the same time, Pisces is mutable water, so sometimes it's not always loyal because it goes wherever it feels inspired, right? And so, but it can be very romantic. They have a very idealistic view on love and relationships. That's why I think her Venus is in Pisces. And then we have, because that's why she stayed with Lawrence for so long. Like, she had this idea of like, well, I guess we should just, this is love. This is how it's supposed to be. And, she romanticized that relationship until she started to realize it really wasn't progressing and they weren't growing. Molly, I think, is a Capricorn. I think she's a Capricorn. She's very, very career driven. She's not happy being just mediocre. If you notice, like, she wanted a raise when she felt she deserved one. She went to a new firm. So I think she's a Capricorn because she is very goal driven. Everything is about the end result and how she can gain status and reputation. I think her moon is in Libra, though. I think she does value partnership. I think Molly wants more attention than she puts on. I think Molly wants to relate to people, and that is why you see her a lot in these seasons with dating different men. I think she is trying to search for a partner, but I think her Venus is probably in Capricorn, and what's going to happen there is like she has really high standards, though, for what she wants. Capricorn is not really going to settle down with anyone just because. They have standards. They have certain structures they want in place before they're in a serious committed relationship. That is why I think her Venus is in Capricorn. I think Lawrence is a Taurus. Taurus sometimes can follow their routine too much. Now, it's good because these are people that are steady and they're constant and they're fixed. And these are not people who are indecisive. These are not people who are shady, because whatever they are is what they are, whether you like that or not. It is what it is. And the thing with him was that he had this like laziness about him that sometimes Venus can cause. Venus rules Libra and Taurus, and sometimes Venus, remember, Venus is more relaxed of a planet. It is love and possessions and things like that, and so Venus is not really going to move you, right? And so I think that Taurus, he got really complacent where he was, you know, living with Issa. He wanted to do more. He wanted to have a career, but he really wasn't doing anything about it, you know. And I also think that once he started to make money, you'll see that Lawrence is now happy doing that. Remember, whatever Taurus is doing, I'm not saying Taurus is lazy all the time, because there's Tauruses that work really hard. Like, Taurus is a very hardworking sign, but they're true to what they want. And so because Lawrence didn't have what he wanted, he was fine being where he is because he wants to be comfortable. So Lawrence is like, I'm not going to go out there and work if that's not what I want to really do. Whereas you can have a Taurus person working for the same place for 20 years because they're comfortable there. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm not saying Taurus at all is a lazy sign. I'm saying because they can be very hardworking because they can lay the foundation. But I'm saying some of them, remember, you have evolved signs and unevolved signs, can get too comfortable in their lack of situation. Do you see what I'm saying? Whereas you have one that's working every day, they're going to be working every day because they like routine. Taurus is like routine, whether routine is sitting on the couch or going out to work every day. And I also say his Venus is also in Taurus because he does value relationship. He does value loyalty. He probably would have went on to have a family with Issa and married her and all that stuff once he got himself situated. You know, I also think some Taurus energy men, I'm just going to say this, they're not about status when it comes to their partners necessarily. So like, for instance, a lot of Taurus men are practical. Who makes sense with me? Who am I going to date? Then all of them are not just like, I need a Beyonce because everybody got a Beyonce. I want a Beyonce. They're more so just like practical, like a woman that supports them, a woman who's comforting, whatever that means, right? She's stable. I want to be stable, so I'll date her. They're very practical in why they choose who they choose. All right. And it doesn't always have to be about stability. I'm just saying they don't necessarily choose based on what other people want. It's about what they need, what their needs are. Daniel, I think, is a Leo, and that's why she kept coming back to Daniel. They are opposite signs, Leo and Aquarius, and I think that she wanted him because he had what Lawrence didn't have. You know, he was very charismatic. Leo, he's a music, is he a producer or a rapper? I'm trying to remember. I think Daniel was a rapper, right? But anyway, he was in music, so he was creative and he was charismatic. You know, he had that spark that, you know, Lawrence just didn't have, you know, and she was excited by that. She liked that he was different. Aquarius likes different things that stand out. They're intrigued by that. I also think that Daniel is a Leo because he's very generous. He didn't have to let Issa stay at his house this past season. She's an ex. And then he was dating messing with other chicks. So like that kind of was cramping his style. He didn't have to let her stay there. So I think that is a very Leo thing for someone to do, to let someone they care about, regardless of what their status is with them at the moment, you know, give them a place to stay, give them a place to crash. I think that was a great sign of him being a Leo. Kelly. Let's get into her other friends. I think Kelly is a Sagittarius. Kelly is very outspoken. Kelly is very wild. She'll say what's on her mind. You know, but here's why I would say that she's a Sagittarius. When you typically see, and because this is a character, so we don't know in depth, but I think when you see someone who is very wild, who is very, say what's on their mind, who is very blunt, but they also are smart, they're intelligent, they're probably a Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a fire sign, so they're fiery in some ways, but in some ways they're not as over the top as Leo and Aries when it comes to like attention or when it comes to notice me. If you remember this past season, it's revealed that Kelly's job. So Kelly was completely different when she was at her job. She was not loud. She was not wild. She was pretty knowledgeable. I think she's a financial advisor. She was trying to help Issa get her stuff together. And I think that, you know, Kelly was very informed. She knew what she was talking about. She had a lot of knowledge on the situation. And that's why I think she's a Sagittarius, because typically when you see someone wild, but they're smart at the same time, and, you know, I think that's a Sagittarius trait. Tiffany, I think, is a Libra. She does love attention. Now, not all Libras love attention. There are some Libras who have different placements, and just value partnership more, and that's fine. I think she's a Libra because friendship is very important to Tiffany, even though she's pretty self-centered. Some Libras can be narcissistic and self-centered. And I say some, don't get offended. I have a Libra child. I'm not judging all Libras, but I'm saying, like, there's a bad side to every sign. There's an unevolved Libra, there's the evolved Libra. The evolved Libra has learned how to view partnership as not a way to define the self, but as a way to build and connect with other people in meaningful ways. An unevolved Libra just needs people around. They have to be in a relationship, they have to be in a partnership, because they don't understand who they are without that. So if you're listening to me, you pick whatever Libra you think you are. But I'm saying, in her case, Tiffany loves attention. She loves attention, but she also needs her friends around to see this attention, right? She's in this relationship, and Libra can be quite indecisive at times. And I'm not saying she's indecisive, but she kind of, you know, lets some stuff go in her relationship or to stay in the relationship. And I'm quickly going to move on. Okay, Dro is not really a main character. I'm quickly going to say what I think about Dro. You know, Dro was in the open relationship with his wife, supposedly, and he was who... what's her name? Molly kept going back to, and that's why I said her moon's in Libra. She's attracted to him from many ways, but she was attracted to him. I think Dro's a Libra. He values partnership. That's why he's married. He values partnership. He really does. Libras, even when they aren't committed, or some of them are indecisive, they have to have someone. They always have somebody. He's sensual. He's open-minded, right? He has this partner swapping situation. Open relationship. You know who's signs more likely to have this open relationship philosophy? You have the air signs, y'all. Aquarius, Libra, Gemini are more likely to be open to this type of setup. I'm just gonna think about it. Air, right? Freedom in relationships. And again, I'm not saying everybody who has a sign does that. So I think Dro is a Libra, and he's the type that, you know, I think it works for their relationship. I think it works for him and his wife, but at the same time, Molly got too attached. Dro was like, you're not going to talk about, she said something about his wife, and like that is what kind of like triggered her the end of their situation. But I think Dro is a Libra, based off, again, I can't go in depth about anything else because he wasn't a major character, so I can't go as in depth as I did Issa or, you know, Lawrence or anything like that. All right, thank you for watching.